All right, so this is Kenny Santos out of Toronto, Canada for kennysantos.com. Today's Friday, so it's time for another book review. Today's book, it's an oldie, but it is a goodie. It's by Florence Scovel. Some of you already know what the book is once I say the author's name because you've read it, but there's a lot of people, because the book's so old, they've never heard of it, or they've kind of heard of it and they've never read it. But what I invite you to do is, if you haven't read The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel, then you have got to get a copy. This is one of those books that is like an originator of the law of attraction. You know, all these law of attraction or thoughts become things, you know, like just like Think and Grow Rich and, you know, The Strangest Secret and all these, they all came out, you know, like a while back. And the wonderful thing about this particular book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, is that it really teaches you how to trust in your higher power. Now, in the book, they refer to the higher power as God, as many people do. But you know what? I call my higher power the universe. Some people call their higher power Allah. Some people have another name for their higher power. But basically, this book teaches you to trust with faith your higher power. And when you have trust, and because when you have trust with your higher power, you really free yourself from a lot of things, because life ultimately is 10% what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. And if you get upset for things that you can't control, things like delays in flights or weather patterns that, you know what, might destroy my tomato garden, or if you're a farmer and it, you know, destroys your whole crop, if there's a drought, you know, these things you just cannot control. However, if you are able to trust that there is some sort of process, that there's some sort of story going along here, then you can get a lot more stressful or stress less in your life. You know what, if you watch a movie, there's always like this turning point where something terrible is happening to the main character, but in the end, it always turns out okay, right? In the end, it's fine. And so if there's a turning point that's happening in your life, then just realize that that just makes the story better. It just means it's not the end of the story yet, and it makes room for something happier to happen. And oftentimes, if you look at certain stories, or possibly all of them, you know what, if that bad thing, that quote-unquote bad thing didn't happen, then the good thing at the end, or the great triumph at the end, would never have happened. It just would not have taken shape. It would have needed to happen. And sometimes, you know what, bad things happen so that better things can happen to us. And so this book really helps me realize this. I read this book a while back, and you know, it's not one of those books that I quite read every year, but it's certainly a book that I revisit maybe every 2 years, maybe every 3 years. I would like to visit it every single year. However, if I read every book that I loved every year, then I wouldn't be reading any new books. And so the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, I mean, what an awesome name for a book, isn't it? That's just a great name. The Game of Life. It just really takes the stress out of life and how to play it, because life is a game. So I trust you got some great value out of this. What I invite you to do is to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Also, if you want to see more videos just like this, I invite you to go over to my blog, kennysantos.com. You can put your name and email in. You're going to get an awesome audio on growing your business. And remember this, every day, multiple times a day, the universe sends us miracles. We only have to do two things. We got to recognize those miracles, and then we got to accept them. All right, take care and create a great day.